Ever stopped mid-sentence and wondered if anything you do is actually normal? Like, are we all just faking it, following a secret script for human being 101 that we never got a copy of? It turns out some of the most universal stuff that makes you normal is, when you really look at it, profoundly and beautifully weird. We're talking about the biological glitches and psychological hiccups that we all share but never really talk about. Let's get right into it. Number 6 is the pre-sleep freefall. You know the one, you're finally cozy in bed, your mind is drifting off into that sweet, blissful void between consciousness and sleep. The worries of the day are melting away. You're on the edge of a dream about winning the lottery or finally organizing your spice rack, when suddenly bam. For one heart-stopping second you are plummeting. You're falling off a cliff, a building, or maybe just tripping over a spectral curb that exists only in your mind. Your whole body convulses in a violent jerk, yanking you back into the cold, boring reality of your bedroom. This delightful little feature of human existence is called a hypnagogic jerk, and while it feels like your soul is trying to violently exit your body, the cause is actually pretty mundane yet hilarious. See, as you fall asleep, your brain isn't a single unit clocking out for the night. Different parts shut down at different speeds. Sometimes your logical, conscious brain goes to sleep before your body has fully gotten the memo. Your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, and your muscles relax. To the more primitive, jumpy part of your brain, the part still worried about being eaten by saber-toothed tigers, this sudden muscle limpness feels exactly like falling out of a tree. So in a sheer panic it screams, "Wake up, we're going down," and sends a massive electrical jolt to all your muscles to try and catch you. It's the neurological equivalent of a sleeping person flailing their arms because they dreamt they were dropping their very expensive burrito. So next time it happens, just remember it's your ancient lizard brain, doing a terrible job of trying to save you from a completely imaginary fall. Coming in at number 5, we have staircase wit. Picture this, you're in a conversation, maybe a friendly debate, maybe a full-blown argument with that one cousin who thinks pineapple on pizza is a culinary masterpiece. They hit you with a zinger, you're stunned. Your brain, the same organ that can remember the lyrics to a terrible song from 2008, offers you absolutely nothing. You stammer, concede defeat, and walk away. Then 2 hours later, while you're peacefully washing dishes, the most brilliant, witty, soul-crushingly perfect comeback materializes in your head. It's a work of art, it's devastating, and it's completely, utterly useless. This phenomenon has a fancy French name, l'esprit de l'escalier, which literally translates to the spirit of the staircase. It refers to thinking of the perfect reply as you're on your way out, walking down the stairs. The reason this happens is all about pressure. When you're in a high-stakes social situation, your brain's fight-or-flight response kicks in. Your adrenal system floods your body with cortisol, and your brain diverts all its resources to one of two things: punching the person or running away from them. Neither of these states is particularly good for crafting clever wordplay. It's only later, when you're relaxed and the perceived threat is gone, that your prefrontal cortex, the sophisticated, clever part of your brain, can get back online. It calmly assesses the data from the earlier confrontation and, without the pressure of a live audience, easily generates the perfect retort. Your brain is basically a brilliant comedian who suffers from crippling stage fright, only coming up with A-grade material in the quiet of the car ride home. At number 4, we have the ghost in your pocket. You've felt it. You're walking down the street, sitting in a quiet room, or trying to focus in a meeting, and you feel it, that faint, specific buzz against your leg, a phantom vibration. You instinctively reach for your phone, your brain already anticipating a text, a notification, a call from a long-lost friend, but you pull it out and the screen is dark. Nothing. No calls, no texts, no alerts. You just hallucinated a text message. Welcome to phantom vibration syndrome, a thoroughly modern psychological tic that nearly 90% of people have experienced. This isn't a sign you're losing your mind, it's a sign that your brain is actually doing its job too well. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. For years, you have trained it to associate a specific buzzing sensation with a potential social reward. Ding, someone liked your photo. Buzz, a funny message from a friend. Your brain learns this connection, buzz equals good thing. It gets so good at anticipating this reward that it starts actively looking for the signal, becoming hypervigilant. It begins to misinterpret other, similar sensory inputs, the rustle of your clothes, a tiny muscle spasm, the general noise of your nervous system, as a phone vibration. It's the technological version of hearing a faint rustle in the bushes and assuming it's a predator. Except instead of a lion, you're terrified of missing a meme. Essentially, you've conditioned yourself so perfectly that your own nervous system is now sending you push notifications for things that never even happen. Alright, at number 3 is the everywhere effect. You know this happens. You learn a new, obscure word like petrichor, the smell of rain on dry earth. You think, huh, neat, and move on with your life. But then for the next 48 hours, that word is inescapable. You hear it in a podcast, see it in a book you're reading, and overhear someone say it at a cafe. Suddenly, petrichor is the most popular word in the English language. Or maybe you notice a specific model of car for the first time, say, a bright yellow Fiat. The next day, you're stuck in a traffic jam surrounded by an entire fleet of them, as if you've stumbled into a convention for people with questionable taste in vehicles. This isn't the universe trying to send you a cryptic message. It's a cognitive trick called the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon or the frequency illusion, and it works in two parts. The first part is selective attention. Before you learned what petrichor was, you'd probably heard or seen it dozens of times. But to your brain, it was just meaningless noise, filtered out along with millions of other useless bits of data. Now that you've assigned meaning to it, your brain has flagged it as important. Your reticular activating system, the brain's bouncer, has put petrichor on the VIP list, so now you spot it instantly. The second part is confirmation bias. The first time you see the word after learning it, you think, oh, what a coincidence. The second time your brain screams, see, I told you, it's everywhere. Each new sighting confirms your belief that the frequency has genuinely increased, which makes you even more likely to notice it again. So you aren't going crazy and the world hasn't changed. Your brain has just updated its software to include a new search term, and now it's running that search on a constant loop in the background of reality. Holding the number 2 spot is the deeply weird impulse known as cute aggression. You see a puppy, it's so fluffy and clumsy that it trips over its own paws. It looks up at you with giant soulful eyes. Your heart melts into a puddle. And then your brain, in its infinite wisdom, offers up a truly bizarre command: squeeze it, squish its face. I love it so much I want to crush it. It's a feeling of affection so intense that it manifests as a mild, cartoonish form of violence. You clench your fists, grit your teeth, and have to physically restrain yourself from gently smooshing the source of this overwhelming cuteness. This seemingly psychotic reaction is actually your brain trying to save you from yourself. It's a psychological phenomenon called cute aggression, and it's a form of dimorphous expression, meaning you're expressing one emotion while feeling another. When you see something impossibly cute, the reward center of your brain, the nucleus accumbens, goes absolutely haywire. It floods your system with so much dopamine, the feel-good chemical, that it's completely overwhelming. Your brain's emotional regulation system senses this overload and panics. It's like, whoa, we're redlining on the cutometer, we're gonna pass out. To restore emotional balance and stop you from becoming a useless, cooing puddle on the floor, the brain does something clever. It releases a splash of the opposite emotion, aggression. This counter-emotion acts like a governor on an engine, tamping down the overwhelmingly positive feeling to a more manageable level. So when you say, I want to eat your chubby cheeks, to a baby, you're not a monster. You're just experiencing your brain's clumsy, built-in safety feature that prevents you from literally short-circuiting from an overdose of adorable. And finally, the number 1 spot goes to a phenomenon you've almost certainly felt but probably couldn't name: the Tetris Effect. Imagine you've just spent 3 straight hours playing a game like Tetris, lining up those falling blocks, clearing lines, feeling that sweet satisfaction. You finally decide you should probably eat or see sunlight, so you turn it off. But the game doesn't turn off in your head. You close your eyes, and you can see the faint afterimage of little geometric shapes tumbling down in the darkness. You look at the tiles on the floor and start mentally arranging them. You glance at a bookshelf and feel a primal urge to reorganize the books to eliminate gaps. This is the Tetris effect, and it's not just about Tetris. It can happen with any activity that involves prolonged exposure to repetitive patterns. Spend a day working a cash register and you might find yourself dreaming about barcodes. Work on an assembly line, and the whole world might start to look like a series of objects to be sorted. It's a powerful demonstration of your brain's procedural memory at work. When you perform a task over and over, your brain doesn't just learn it, it tries to master it. It rewires itself, creating powerful neural pathways to make that activity as efficient and automatic as possible. The effect is your brain being so dedicated to its new skill that it refuses to clock out. It continues running the pattern-matching software in the background, applying it to any new data it receives, whether that's the buildings on a skyline or the groceries in your cart. It's like a super eager intern who, after being taught how to use a spreadsheet, starts organizing their entire life into rows and columns. It's not a glitch. It's your brain's incredible and slightly obsessive ability to learn a pattern so deeply that it begins to project it onto the fabric of reality itself. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.